Hey guys, welcome to Discover Music, and today we'll be talking about the second and final studio album from hard rock band Submersed, called Immortal Verses. This album was released on September 18, 2007, and it is the first album that is without guitarist Eric Friedman, a member of the band, but he is credited in songwriting. The producer of this album is Rick Beato, who is also the producer on some Shinedown albums. Overall, this album was disappointing, and I'll tell you why later on. Okay, let's go into the track listings. The first track is Better Think Again. This song has pretty decent guitar work from the beginning, and it has very good vocals from Donald Carpenter, as we see in the last album. But it just doesn't have that lasting power or that lasting drive that the songs off of In Due Time had. This song is one of the best songs on the album, but still doesn't really compare to the songs off of In Due Time. Next is Price of Fame. And again, it's kind of like Better Thing Again, a little bit slower, but it has pretty good chord progression, and the vocal style has more of country vibe to it. But it does express some serious emotion, but it still does not have an it factor or a prominent staying power. Okay, next is Life Without You. And this song has an interesting choice of rhythm and the guitars at the beginning. But overall, the rhythm of the song kind of reminded me of Killer Queen by Queen. But of course, it doesn't go anywhere near the just the greatness of Killer Queen. Okay, next is Over Now, which is a very Guns N' Roses type of sounding song, with the guitars and drums right off the bat. The atmosphere of the song is really nice, and the vocal work is pretty good. Lyrics in the song are one of the stronger ones, but still the song can get very boring and monotonous the longer you listen to it. Next is An Artist's Prayer, which has very mysterious guitar work in the beginning, and it has again more of a country feel, just like Price of Fame. Of course, it's not country, but it has that kind of feel, that atmosphere to it, and it kind of reminds me of, if you guys have heard, Darius Rucker. When he went to his solo career, he started to be a country singer. And the vocal performance and really the whole song gives that kind of vibe. And An Artist's Prayer is an okay song. It's kind of in the middle of rankings. Okay, next song is Sarah and Johnny, which has more like a bluesy drums and Metallica sounding guitar riffs to start off the song, and it fades into more of an rhythmic, like acoustic guitar flavor, and it's very interesting. This song has a pretty good emotional story to it, but still, it's, all these songs have these good elements and these different elements. It really hasn't lived up to the expectations that was set for this album from their first album, or their debut album, In Due Time. And that's what really has hurt this album. It has such a high standard to live up to from the amazingness of In Due Time, and it has fallen short in almost every category, every aspect, and almost every song. Okay, so the next song is At First Sight, which sounds almost identical to Sweet Child of Mine. But, of course, it's not exactly. And it actually kind of has some Nutcracker style staccato guitar chords in the pre-chorus. And the song as a whole is pretty good, but it's still, it falls short to being like a lasting song. The next song is Wonder, which is one of the better songs on the track. It has a lyrical theme of curiosity and self-doubt, and the groove of the song is heavy enough and memorable enough to tap your feet to it. But it doesn't necessarily drive you away from the lyrics or the deep content. Like some songs, actually a lot of songs nowadays, they go for catchiness instead of lyrical content. And that's I think that one of the downfalls of rock music today. How the songs are going for more of radio friendly and more of a catchiness for people to remember the song, but it doesn't really have any lyrical content or themes that connects with people. And that's what I see happening in the trends. And a lot of bands today aren't putting much effort into the lyrics as they should. Okay, so the next song is Rewind, which is a very acoustic shift for this album, and right away is a huge change of atmosphere for this album. Shamefully, it came basically at the end, and the musicianship is very good on this track, and the guitar solo and the vocal work are very good. But a song overall, even with those great elements in it, it just didn't click. And that's what I think is really frustrating for me as a listener and a reviewer of this album. I know what this band is capable of, even though Eric Freeman left the band. The guitarist who replaced him filled in very nicely. But it didn't gel, and it didn't jive as well as their debut album did. And I think that's what's really frustrating. That's the frustration I got from this album. Okay, next song is Answers. And this song has a slow build and nice guitar riff. Very reminiscent of Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. And the lyrics are very relatable, but again, it's the frustrating tendencies come back in the song when it's just not able to come together and gel together in the way that it should. And I skipped a few songs by accident. So one song is I Feel the Change, which is the 5th track on the album, and right after Over Now. And this song has a very ominous opening. It's very, I guess kind of that creepy vibe to it, and it's almost like just one of those typical rock songs, but it has a memorable rhythm, which is hard to say about other songs on this album. But again, this track just doesn't seem to gel together, as you see this as recurring theme throughout the songs. Like, they have the pieces. I don't know who the production work should be to blame, the editor, or just the band itself, but these songs have been far inferior to the rest of the album that it should be, and their debut. And the other song I missed is We All Make Mistakes, which is after I Feel the Change, so the 6th song on the album. And the guitar is very reminiscent of country music on this album. The guitar work on this album, well, actually, on this album as a whole, it has had a more country vibe than the first album. And the first album was quite solely hard rock. But on this song, the guitars are very, again, reminiscent of country music. And the guitar passes through the verses very nicely, and the chorus is very nice. But the song just doesn't, how should I say this? It doesn't work in the album because it's kind of a slower one, and it's more, I guess, atmospheric of a song, which is a nice breath of fresh air on this album. But for what the album was, it really didn't fit in to what I guess they were trying to establish with it. And again, it didn't work. So, those are the tracks. This album was a 12-track album. And I don't know what else to say for the tracks. They had a very country feel. They were kind of sporadic in, I guess, overall feeling and atmosphere of the album. And they didn't grab me the way that I think Submersed can. So, here are my track listings. My track listings are from Greatest to Worst, Better Think Again, Wonder, Price of Fame, Sarah and Johnny, Life Without You, Over Now, We All Make Mistakes, I Feel the Change, Answers, An Artist's Prayer, At First Sight, and finally, and pretty much, and the worst song on the album, Rewind. I won't say by far, because each song was all the songs were very consistently in the 60s and 50s in scores. But, so yeah, that's my song rankings. Okay guys, for an overview of the album, Immortal Verses wasn't an awful album. It really wasn't. No matter of the things I said about the album, because I have to critique it, it wasn't awful. It wasn't the best album by far, and it's far inferior to their first album or their debut album, In Due Time. But the songs show that they were kind of experimenting in a more lighter setting, because the songs on Immortal Verses weren't even close to the hardness of songs on In Due Time, such as songs like In Due Time, Two Piece, Hollow, Divide the Hate. Those are all pretty hard rock songs. On this album, they tended to go onto the softer side, which isn't a bad thing. But I think if this is the direction they were gonna go, because Submersed disbanded in 2007, that they just needed more practice in this type of music. Even though I believe Donald Carpenter's voice works better in faster and harder music. But, so my final rating for Immortal Verses by Submersed is a 60 out of 100. And I say that because it was an above average album. It really was. But since we do have In Due Time to compare it to, it was far inferior to it. To check out my review on In Due Time, please check in the description below, and I'll put a link to my review of In Due Time. And thank you again for watching another Discover Music production, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, well, I was in the middle of editing, and I realized that I forgot to do my thank you segment. So, right now, I want to give some special thanks to Alex, Anthony, Chase, and Nicole for reviewing Immortal Verses with me and for giving me their input. You can check out their rankings and overall score in the description below. Hey guys, sorry for a longer video today. I had a lot to say about Immortal Verses by Submersed. If you liked the video, smash the like button. It really helps Discover Music grow. And don't forget to subscribe to Discover Music to be notified when we put out more awesome content. Please view the description box below to see what others of Discover Music ranked and rated this album. And don't forget to leave in the comments below what you thought of the album, what you thought of this video, what would you like to see next, what can Discover Music do to improve the videos to give you content that you want to see. Also, click on one of the boxes below to see another video by Discover Music. Thank you again for watching another Discover Music production. I'll see you next time. Rock on.